Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Wednesday, August 23rd. It is 6:22 right now. Market's gonna open in about 8 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a couple things here to update. And we should be good to go. It's good. So, all right, looks like we're good to go. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right. All right, one last place, and I think we're good to go. All right, guys, morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 23rd. It is 6:24 right now. Market's gonna open in about 6 minutes. And post this up in one last place. Should be good to go. Looks like we are good to go. All right. All right, guys, morning, everybody. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. So morning, Casey, morning, Patricia, morning, Saren, morning, Daniel, morning, Van Harwick, morning, Maria, morning, Randy, morning, James, morning, Maddie, morning, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up liquidity over here on the weekly time frame real quick. It shouldn't take too long. And then we will move on to news and a couple other things. So as you guys can see, it's super easy to mark up liquidity here. If you have a high low indicator, you don't really, it doesn't take very much work. It's really just marking up the high lows that are untested. So I'll go from the weekly to the daily. A lot of people ask me how I mark up liquidity. It's really not that hard. It's hard if you're doing it by hand. I can do it by hand too, but it takes a lot more work, and you miss a lot of good zones here that could be useful. So if you guys have my indicators, you guys can see how simple it is to mark these up so that you are aware of, where liquidity might be hitting. 8 hour. 4 hour, and you'll see that sometimes I'll mark up these levels over here that have not been established because there's only been like one candle. The only reason I'm doing that is because I know from experience that that's probably going to close. So I'm able to kind of just predict where the liquidity is actually going to establish. If you guys are new, probably don't do that. Just mark up stuff that's actually established, because the last thing you want to do is incorrectly mark up liquidity, and then you take that as a liquidity zone, and then you kind of screw up, right? So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm doing this all from experience. I'm already expecting a lot of these zones to establish, so that's why I am marking them up here. And for the most part, I'm probably not even going to take any of these liquidity zones because, for one, they're either too far from price, and for two, oh crap, I forgot to color those differently. And for two, there's not really much of a bias right now. We'll take a look at the bias before market opens, hopefully. So I can show you guys, market's gonna open in about 2 minutes. I'm gonna try to zoom through this really quick. We have a lot of news today, so that's gonna be something for us to look out for. All right, looks like I got all of the liquidity marked up right there. Closest level is going to be up here. This might be hit pre-market. If you're going to go for this, maybe 100 pips because it's a low level liquidity. And then one down below over here. I don't think there's much of a bias though, so I would probably only go for 100 pips if you guys are looking to take these trades here. If you guys remember from yesterday, the first touch is usually a fake out. Second touch will probably be the breakthrough, so maybe wait for that. Looking over here at the trend. So overall trend over here, long term is still bearish. You can see prices below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down on the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour time frames. However, looking over here on the shorter time frames, 1, 5, and 10, it's pretty much neutral because price is in between the pivots. So with that said, we don't really have much of a strong bias there. Now, looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 54% short. That's going to be pretty much neutral for us. And looking over here at pre-market fundamentals, they are at 39 points. So not very much of a bias for today. So we're not really going to have too much to look at here for the most part. Market is opening in about 10 seconds, guys. Again, first level of liquidity is going to be up here and down below. If you guys want to take it, I would probably either not take it or only go for 100 pips. A lot of fake outs have been happening yesterday and the day before, so you might want to wait for that second touch versus just hopping in right away. But again, it's really up to you guys. Can't necessarily tell you exactly what will happen because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So right there, you can see how the fake out kind of pushed through. I mean, it didn't push through, it touched it, and then it's coming for a second touch. I would probably hold off on the first touch. We talked about this yesterday and the day before. If you guys didn't attend the mentoring session yesterday, I do recommend that you guys go and review it because it was very informational. We covered a lot of the very basic details to the momentum pullback scalp strategy. And we also covered some details about this trading week. So there goes a move right there. Still hasn't pulled back from the first touch. It's still kind of bouncing around from where it's currently at. Again, I'd probably look for the retracement, and there you go, full TP. So you can see it touched it about like 3 times, and then it ended up hitting its full TP right there. So if you guys took the liquidity push, this was the initial liquidity push right here on open. It's still pushing up, so it might push up to the full 300. It already hit the 100, and it's now pushing up to the full one, but we'll see where that ends up going. I'm not in a position here. That's my Apple messages. I'm just responding to somebody. So I'm not in this position right here, but if you guys took it for 100 pips, it already went straight to full TP on open right there. So all right, let's get back to the main chart over here, looking at today's overall bias. Retail sentiment is neutral, 54%. Short, fundamental bias, neutral, plus 30 points. Short-term technical is neutral. Long-term technical is neutral bullish, neutral bearish. All right, so as you guys can see over here, there's not really much of a bias, right? Retail sentiment's currently neutral. It's 54% short. Fundamental bias is neutral. It's 30 points. Short-term technicals is neutral. Long-term technicals is neutral bearish. So with that said, we don't really have much of a bias to look at. Looking over here at the ATR is very low as well. It's currently at 16. You know, it's just a little too low at 15 right now currently. So it wouldn't even fit our criteria for the momentum pullback scalp. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up, or let's take a look at the news real quick. So not really too much news. There's breaking news, but it's not really important. It's just that stocks are opening higher with NVIDIA earnings. Looking over here at the news for this morning. So we had news over here at 4 o'clock, which was MBA mortgage applications, building permits. So 4 o'clock and 4:45 low impact to medium impact news. I'm going to go ahead and mark that up over here real quick. 4:45, which is right here. Not really much of a movement off that candle. It's just 4:45 and 4 o'clock. So we got 4:45, 4 o'clock. We got more news over here at 6:45, 7, high impact news, very high impact, 6:45, 7, and 7:30. So we got a lot of news coming up right here in a few minutes. I think the market might be a little flat until then. And then once that news passes, we'll start to get some crazy volatility as price continues to, to move along. 6:45, 7, and 7:30. There we go. So we got that marked up. You can see there's not really much of a direction. Price just keeps going back and forth. I'm going to go and mark up opening price right here as well. So got that right there. Here is the clean chart. Got opening time right there, 8 o'clock. So here's our clean chart. As you guys can see, there's not really much direction. Price just keeps bouncing back and forth between opening price pulled up, faked out, pulled down, faked out. Now might be swinging right back to opening price right there. Looking at the ATR, it's very low. It's currently at 17. So it's not really, it's not too useful for us right now. So not a big deal. And again, right there, you can see price swung right back above to opening price. I think price will just range around this area until news. News is coming up over here at 6:45. So once that happens, it's high impact news for S&P Global Manufacturing PMI and S&P Global Services PMI plus Global Composite PMI. So with that said, medium to high impact, they're forecasting it to be mixed. So manufacturing looks like it's going to be somewhat positive. Services looks like it's to be somewhat negative. And composites both to be neutral. So I mean, we'll see if they're both in both directions. We're probably gonna get, fake outs both ways. So it's all right. There's nothing for us to really take here anyway. So we just gotta wait for the news here to pass and price to really stabilize and choose its direction. Price is faking on both directions, but it's not necessarily pushing out too far. If we measure the distance over here, so between this low and this high, it's only moved about 600 pips, not very much. If it was like 1,000 pip move, then we'd pay some attention to it, but not necessarily right now. So the ATR is starting to pick up a little bit, but it's okay because we have news coming up over here shortly. So we'll just sit tight and I'll start marking up the levels over here. So we got 10 right there, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 80, and then we'll go down here. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. All right. Looks like we are good to go. So we got all these levels marked up right here. ATR is currently at 18. We got news coming up at 6:45. So not really too much for us to play around with over here. I'm gonna go ahead and mark up the zones over here on the clean chart. So we got the upper zone right there, and we have the lower zone. Right there. I mean, not really too much of a direction. You can see prices just going back and forth. News coming up in about 7 minutes. So no entries for us to take here, even if you wanted to. We kind of just got to sit tight right here for a bit. Rashida's asking for the high-low scalp requirements. High-low momentum scalp, right? Let me see if I can find it here. And I keep saying I'm going to fix this, and I never do. I got to clean all this stuff up. There's way too many strategies here that I don't typically use very often. I just got to clean it up so it's easier to see. High-low momentum. I don't even remember what the strategy is called. Oh yeah, it's over here. High-low momentum scalp. There we go. Yeah, Maddie mentioned the next 3 weeks are going to be stacked. So, so this week is Fed week, or sort of Fed week. Next week we have NFP, and then the week after that it's going to be Labor Day week. So, yeah, a lot of stuff to look out for there. 6:40 right now. Market's going to provide news at about 5 minutes, and then we have news at 7 o'clock too. So hopefully we'll have news in between. I don't think we will though, because it's not enough time between 6:45 and 7. Because the news at 7, let me check. And we have more high impact news at 7 o'clock. So we have high impact news right now in about 4 minutes. We have S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, Global Services PMI, Global Composite. And then at 7 o'clock, we have consumer confidence, new home sales month over month, new home sales for July. They're forecasting it to be positive. So, I mean, we'll see if this is the case. And price might just continue climbing. Price might get a push up from this news over here at 6:45, and then if the news here at 7 is good, it's probably going to climb even higher. And we have stock, basically oil stock news as well. And then today's the first day of the Jack Hole Symposium. So not right now, but later today, the Jack Hole Symposium is going to go off, and I think either it's for today, tomorrow, and Friday. Powell's going to speak at one of the days. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow, but he's going to be speaking at the Jack Hole Symposium. Happens like once or twice a year, I believe. I mean, we'll just see where that goes. But the volatility here is very low for, the first 10 minutes of market. Volatility stayed at about 15 to 18. ATR here is not really coming up very much, but you guys can see where price is going. It's just bouncing around opening price right here. So it's basically just waiting for the news to come out. Once the news comes out, it's going to choose a direction. But the problem with that is that once that news comes out, another big high impact news is going to come out at 7. So it might either contradict it or it's going to continue pushing it in that direction. So, I mean, we'll see. It's just a matter of time until that happens. But, we'll see. Maddie said he's going to wait until after 7. Trading right now, entering lower probability trades. So he's good. Yeah, Maddie confirmed that Powell is speaking on Friday, 7:45 at 7:05. Yeah, I think on Friday we might have to try to get some early trades because once Powell speaks, there's a lot of things that can happen. Like you don't really know what's going to happen because he can say one thing and then price will just spike and then it might correct and then it might go the other way. And there's just too much. I mean, there's too much risk when trading when Powell is speaking. I mean, it's possible to trade when he's speaking. I've traded when he speaks. A lot of people have actually, and they've done decent, but um, you're kind of gambling at that point because you don't really know when he's going to say something that will highly affect price. So we got news coming up over here in about 3 minutes, 2 minutes actually. I'm curious to see how the market reacts to this. If anything, the market might not react to this news very much, and then it'll wait for the next news at 7 o'clock, and then it's going to have a higher impact because it's just going to have a late reaction. Plus, it's going to also react with the 7 o'clock news because it's probably going to go hand in hand. Maybe with global services versus manufacturing. Manufacturing is going to be an impact too because it's going to go along with home sales. I mean, they're all kind of tied together, right? Manufacturing kind of ties to everything. It ties to retail, consumer retail, ties into homes, ties into gas. It ties into like everything because manufacturing can be, I mean, it can be literally anything. It can be household goods. It could be tools. It could be, I mean, really anything. And then services as well. So we'll see what happens here. We have about news coming up in about a minute, 6:43 right now. Price is pushing up slightly. So it's just coming back right there for the retest of that liquidity zone. So if anybody got that liquidity, great. If you didn't, it's completely fine. But here we go, this price comes right back down. So it came back up to this resistance. And we'll see if it comes right back down to opening price. We got news in about 20 seconds though, so price might just climb. We'll see what happens here. So we got the news event right here. It's coming down in about 20 seconds. We'll see what they have here for us. Curious to see what the outcome is. All right, there goes news, all negative. So it was all negative right there. So if price starts to climb down, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if price kind of fakes out up here. It'll push up a little bit, fake out, and then come back down to opening price. So probably a fake out here and then swing right back down to opening price. So if you guys are looking for something risky, that's probably something to look out for. Maybe a V1 variation, V2 variation, something, some type of reversal pattern. And then return to the opening price right here. Because the news was all negative right here. You can see. So it was forecasted to be 49.3. It was 47, 42.2, 51, 52 over here is actually 50.4. So I think this right here is all manipulation. They're just looking to stop people out who are chasing the sell. This is why I don't necessarily take trades based off news. I like to see how the market reacts to it. And then if it comes back in the direction that it's supposed to go, it'll probably play through. So for example, over here, if this closes this way, like with a red candle, it's not a V3 pattern because there's no bias right now, but it would be a reversal type pattern. So see how price is coming right back down? It's coming right back down to opening price, just like we anticipated, because the news over here was negative, of course. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to take this, of course. I'm not going to mess with it. It's just too risky because obviously price is supposed to come down, but price is being manipulated to the upside. It's doing that because that's how it creates liquidity. It needs to stop people out, right? It stops people out, people hop back in, and then it just smoothens out the market. So my target price point is going to be opening price. Price continues to drop further, of course. So we'll see. But I'm not here to gamble. You guys know that I don't gamble. I only take high quality trades. So even though I do think price is going to come down, it'll fake out and come back down. I'm not going to take the trade. So this here would technically be a V3 pattern, like I mentioned. There's a high here with the green candle, following red candle over here, and then price is likely to come back down to opening price. I don't know if it'll happen right now, it might happen now, it might happen later, or price might just consolidate here until the next news event. So this right here is actually an entry. Well, it was right at news though. It was right at news at 6:45. This was an entry for momentum pullback scalp. So you can see there was a buy signal here. Price is bullish, price swung up. This red candle here pulled back. So the entry would have been at this level right here at the 10, and then it would have shot up and went straight to TP. Not one I would take because it was based off news, but nonetheless, an entry. So let me go and clean this up right here. And now we wait for the next news event. That would have been a good entry too. This price pulled up, retraced, filled right there, would have went straight to TP. It was right on news candle at 6:45, so obviously not one I would take. But if there was no news there, that would be a perfect entry. So again, guys, if you guys didn't attend the mentoring session yesterday, just go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KodiKaiTrades, and then go to the mentoring session from yesterday. So if you scroll down to mentoring sessions right here, just go to this one right here, the most recent one. And this one right here, I actually changed the criteria for the momentum pullback scalp. So it's really detailed now. It's very easy to follow. So identify direction of momentum using the momentum indicator. We have a buy signal right here. Identify the trend or confirm the trend is matching the direction using the pivots. You can see pivots are angling up, prices above the pivots, red pivots below all of the other pivots. That's going to be step 2. Step 3, confirm trend is matching the direction using the trend meter. The trend meter down below is green. We're looking for a bullish direction. So with that said, steps 1 through 3 have been met. Confirm a directional push in that direction. You can see price pushed up right here. Confirm pullback in the opposite direction, red candle right here. Confirm a pullback does not close past the momentum signal. The momentum signal is over here, so it doesn't pull back past it. It gets close to it, but not past it. And then enter at the nearest whole number, which should be right there. But again, this was at news, so not one we would take. But if you guys want to see that updated list, just go to the mentoring session. You guys can just pause the video and get that down. So again, right here, you can see price keeps faking out. It hasn't necessarily just dropped straight down like we anticipated, but it is coming down. You can see price came up, faked out, came down, faked out again, came right back up, retested, came back down, faked out again. It's just a bunch of fake outs right here as price continues to go sideways in anticipation of the news at 7 o'clock. So we got another big news event at 7 o'clock, but you can see right here, my target price point is probably going to get hit. Going to take some time, but it's going to get hit eventually. So we got the retracement right there. And this kind of sucks because there's a lot of entries here that are starting to set up, but we're getting close to news. So we have a sell signal right here. If we get another buy signal, it could be setting up for another entry, but there's another news event right here at 7 o'clock, which, I mean, obviously we don't want to get in too early or too close, because if price spikes around that time, then, we might get a little screwed. So if the setup does come up, I'll mark it up and I'll show you guys, but I'm probably going to hold off on it. It's too close to the news candle over here. And we have the pending buy signal right there. So if that buy signal closes, possibility of it climbing a little more. All right, we got news over here in 8 minutes. We have new home sales for July and new home sales month over month. They're both forecasted to be positive. So if that's the case, this might flip price. So over here, we had news over here that was negative, right? And then we have news over here at 7 o'clock, which is forecasted to be positive. So if this is negative and this is positive, this can just flip price back up. And that's why I'm a little careful about taking any entries here, because when the news conflicts like that, you don't really know which direction price can go, or it might just stay flat because they just cancel each other out. So we'll see what happens here. 7 minutes till news. buy signal still hasn't closed. Looks like price is going to consolidate here a bit. So this is what I'm expecting here. So see how this news here is positive, or it's forecasted to be positive. I think what will happen here is price will come down. It'll spike down to opening price and then come back up. It'll come down, basically manipulation, fake out, and come up for correction. Or it might just spike down right now. I mean, price still has not came down to where we anticipated, but it hasn't really gone anywhere, really. It's just going sideways. So let's see if this here ends up. I think price will eventually, I think it's going to touch at least once. It's going to come down and touch opening price, and then it's either going to correct back up or it's going to continue dropping. It just really depends on the news right here. We have about 8 minutes till news. So we'll see, 6 minutes actually. 6 minutes till news. There we go. See that area I drew right there? It's coming down to opening price. Finally. I knew it was going to come down. It's just a matter of time until it did. The only problem here is if you would have chased it, see, did exactly what I said was going to happen, right? Faked out right here, got to that resistance. The news was negative, so I knew price was going to come down eventually. It had to come back down into correction. So it corrected back down and it came right to opening price, came down and touched it, did exactly what I said was going to happen, right? So this is where you guys use confluences, right? If you guys look at news, that's why I don't trade news, but I look at how market reacts to news. So like news happened over here at 645 and price pushed up. Didn't make any sense, right? Why would it push up? News here was negative. It was forecasted to be negative and it was negative. So this right here was just manipulation to the upside. And then when price got to this resistance, I was like, okay, price is probably going to bounce off here, not break and close above, and then come back down to opening price. And that's exactly what happened. So this just comes from experience, guys. Like I'm not some trading wizard here. Like I've seen this pattern play out like a bunch of times. So I knew this was going to happen. You know, it just comes from watching the markets, understanding what's going on, and really using that information to become a better trader. A lot of people, they'll look at stuff that happens, but they don't actually understand. They'll say, oh, okay, I thought prices can go here and price goes here, but they don't even know what they're talking about, right? The way that I explain it to you, I try to make it make sense. You know, it's like that meme, like the meme, make it make sense, right? A lot of people always talk this like random trade jargon, but they don't even know what they're talking about. I gave you guys a perfect logical explanation of like why I knew price was going to come down here, because price faked out here, news was negative. So price had to come back down. My target price point was opening price. So it faked out right here and it came right back down. Right? Simple as that. You just got to put 2 and 2 together. Like everything in the market kind of happens for a reason. And a lot of people think that it's random. It's not very random. Like the market isn't, it's random at times, but if you're trading based off news, it's not very random. So same situation over here again. We got news coming up over here at 7 o'clock. You can see the news here is forecasted to be bullish. So if price comes back down, you already know where price is going to go, right? It's going to come right back up. So just, you know, use basic logic, guys. If price comes down over here, fakes out, target price point is going to be right back at opening price again. So it's not rocket science, guys. It's really just using common sense. I feel like people think that trading is extremely complicated and convoluted, or they feel like there's more to it, but realistically, it's just using basic logic, right? You just have to use your brain for the most part. But only when there's stuff going on. So for example, right here, we know that this movement here is based off the news because there's actual news. If price is moving all crazy and there's no news, then okay, that's going to be random. But right now, this isn't random because there's actual news that's backing the movement. So, you know, just keep that in mind, guys. You know, careful with like who you listen to. I only say this because we have like well, the thing is, like, whenever people follow K2 and they become friends with me or with the community, you know, I still follow them on Instagram. And I see a lot of these people who like aren't even good at trading, and they're trying to give like analysis and explanation. You know, given that, okay, they're starting out, I started out somewhere too, but they're like giving information like they know everything. And I'm like, bro, I know you don't even know how to trade. Like, why are you giving this stupid information out? Because I remember there was one guy that I follow, and he posted like, basically what he did was he tried to copy what I'm doing. He goes to my FX book, he looks at the news and he says, okay, this is going to happen, right? but he doesn't know what he's talking about. He just says, oh, this is going to happen, so price is going to go up, price is going to go down. It doesn't matter what happens here. It's like, it doesn't matter if they're forecasting anything. Like price will still do what it wants to do. So for example, over here at 7 o'clock, we have news coming up over here at 7. They're forecasting it to be positive, but it doesn't necessarily mean price will be positive. It can still go in either direction. So you have to like know when news is coming, because that's when volatility is going to pop out. And then when that happens, you want to see how market reacts to it. You can't just say, oh, just because it's positive, it's going to for sure go straight up, right? It's probably not going to happen. It'll probably fake out and then it'll go up, or it'll go up and it'll come right back down. So you just got to be smart. And like, if you guys are getting trading information from people, just make sure that you vet them. I don't care if you guys vet me. I actually like it when people vet me. Like when people test me on these live sessions, and then I'm like, okay, I guess the strategy doesn't work, and then it hits TP. I'm like, okay, I just like proved it for you right there live that it works. So yeah, I mean, whenever you guys learn from somebody, you learn any information, not just trading, information in general, do your due diligence. I feel like a lot of people don't do that anymore. They'll see a lot of people post like crazy things online, like, cars and houses and all this stuff. And like, it's all a facade, So social media is crazy. Like you'll see a lot of people. I see a lot of people that it's crazy. I've seen people who like post jets and all these exotic cars and like designer clothes and stuff. And then I go to a convention and I see the same guy there, and this dude's a bum. It's like, bro, you're just like on Instagram trying to flex, but I see you in person, you're a weirdo. It's crazy. Like social media is, it's just made people like think it's crazy, guys. Like, because I see all these Instagram gurus online, and then I go to like these conventions and I see them in person. I'm like, bro, you're nothing like you look like online. And it's just, I don't know. I just thought I'd meant, because I was thinking about that yesterday. Like all these guys who like tell me they make all these millions, and then they see me post my profits every day on Instagram. And they're like, hey, can you show me how to do that? I'm not going to show you how to do that. Yeah. Yeah. I just find it to be really funny, because my DMs are blowing up lately. My DMs have been blowing up like crazy lately, because I've been consistent. You guys see, I post my profits every single day. It's not like I never miss. Even if I have a losing day, I'll post the losses. And a lot of these Instagram gurus are like blowing up my DMs, like, hey, can you trade for me? Can you add me to your copier? And I'm like, nah, definitely not gonna add you to my copier. All right, so we got news right here at 7 o'clock, guys. Let's see where the news is at. News was positive, just like anticipated. So we'll see if this goes up. Now that news is passed right here, I'm gonna go ahead and mark up news price right there. Natasha said you'd be fired from my job. Daniel said, I saw people we're renting a fake jet to take pictures in. Yeah, it's crazy. There is a fake jet here in Orange County too that I've seen, where you can take pictures. It's like how people always take pictures in jets. There is it's like an Airbnb. It's just a jet that's in this hangar, so it looks legit, but it's unoperable. So you can go in there, you can just pay like a fee and then take pictures inside a jet. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm just looking out for you guys, right? So if you guys ever get information, it doesn't have to be trading. It could be anything. It could be like advertising. It could be Airbnb, any of that stuff, really. Just make sure to vet the person. Like do a background check on that person if you want. It doesn't cost so much to do a background check on somebody. It costs like $100 maybe. You can hire a private investigator and they'll do a background check on somebody to see who you're working with, right? Because like for me personally, I got nothing to hide. I'm an attorney, so like you guys can look up my background. You can even look me up on the attorney website. Like I'm a legitimate licensed attorney. You can do a background check on me. I don't make up any of the stuff that I have, any of the stuff that I do. So, and that's one thing that kind of threw me off too, because this guy messaged me yesterday and he said he was a doctor, and I was like, okay, you're a doctor. I looked him up. This dude is not a doctor. It's crazy. People will just throw stuff out there to make you believe. He was trying to sell me on this supplement company. He's like, hey, do you want to open a supplement company with me? You do the marketing and stuff, and I'll put together whatever. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. The internet's crazy. So just do your due diligence if you ever Van Harwick said the love doctor. Yeah, if you guys ever work with anybody, you know, always do your due diligence and just look up the person. And don't believe Google, because like I could pay Google to hide stuff or to show stuff about me that I want people to portray me as. Like and sorry, I know we're going off topic, guys, but there's no buy signal here. So I'm looking for a buy signal here. And once I get a buy signal, we'll take the entry. Right now, there's nothing here. But what I was going to say was that, you know, you can pay like these editors on CNBC, you can pay them like a couple $100 and they'll write an article about you on like CNBC or like Market Watch or any of that stuff. It's crazy. I always see all these fake articles. Yeah, Forbes too. Like CJ said, like if you guys see somebody that showcases that they've been like featured in Forbes, they're probably not featured in Forbes unless they're on the actual Forbes website. They're like in Forbes Indonesia or something. It's crazy. People will just they'll pay like an editor from like a third world country, like, you know, someplace in Asia. They'll pay him like $100, like, hey, write an article about me. They get the article on the website, but it's like a website that nobody sees. And they're like, oh, I've been featured in Forbes. Where I'm like, dude, it's crazy. There's so many scammers out there. That's the thing that I want to kind of point out to you guys. There's a lot of scammers out there, and you guys just need to watch out for yourselves. Yeah, Rashida said she saw that they DM'd me to pay them, and I said no. You know, initially when I first started K2, I was falling into that circle. I was going to be one of those guys that that would pay for that just to get the K2 name out there, because, like, you know, nobody knew about K2 initially. But then I thought about the long-term consequences, right? I was like, if I do the scam stuff right now just to get the name out there, it's going to look bad on me in the future. So I just never fell into those scams. Like, you know, you can pay people to do stuff like that. And I just try to be, you know, as transparent as possible. So maybe a good thing I didn't do it, because, you know, that $100 probably would have gave me a push up a little bit, but it would have hurt me in the future if someone was to see like that fake article, which is crazy. Just thinking about it, it's like, man, the things people will do for money, right? All right, so we have a pending buy signal right here on this momentum, or on this current candle right here, pending buy signal at sit. It didn't close. We have another one right here at 705. ATR is currently at 18. It's still very low, but there's still opportunity for entry. So with this buy signal right here, if the buy signal closes, we're going to be looking for possibility of price to push up a bit higher. So if you get a buy signal right here, or if and when we do, we're going to look for price to push up slightly, retrace, and continue up. And then from there, I'll be looking for possible entry. We don't have it yet, but I'm just preparing for it. So when it does happen, we'll be ready to enter. Yeah, Rashida said it's hit Forbes in another country. Yeah, it's crazy. Because the thing is, a lot of these big companies, they have like offices in different places. And, you know, a lot of people in these third world countries, they'll do anything for like a few bucks, which, I mean, it sucks, but you gotta do what they gotta do. All right, so let me see what we got over here. So I want to make sure I have my Tradovate set up. All right, I got my Tradovate set up right here. We don't have a entry that's set up yet, but we'll see what happens in a few. So we have this candle is pretty big. We're starting to get an increased volatility right here. Let me check the news real quick. So we got more news at 7:30. It's low impact. Hopefully it's not going to move the market too much, but I'm hoping a direction will be set from now until, well, at least enough for us to take an entry. That's all I really want. I want enough enough movement here for us to be able to take an entry. I don't care for how long it lasts. I just need enough so we can take one entry here, because that's the main thing that we're focused on. We're just looking for this one entry. And then once we get that entry, we're pretty much solid. Yeah, exactly. Daniel said that signal is teasing again. Yeah, for the past like 4 or 5 candles over here, we had a buy signal. Didn't actually close, but let's see. Randy said one of the days last week was like this. Price kept climbing, but no buy signal, then it reversed hard. Yeah, I remember this too, Randy. This was kind of similar to what we saw last week when price kept climbing, and we're like, okay, this buy signal has to come at some point. It never came, and then it reversed, and then it gave us a buy signal, and it didn't work out. So that's gonna be something for us to look out for. Thanks, Randy, for bringing that up, because I do remember that from last week. That was our only loss from last week. It was a solid entry, but it's the same type of pattern here that's playing through. Price was attempting to climb up, it looks like, to the next level of liquidity up here, but I mean, we'll see what happens when it gets to that point. Hey, Marcin, how's it going? I mean, price is still climbing, but we need to get that buy signal. So one thing to look out for here would be the buy signal. So make sure the buy signal does not close too big. That's kind of what happened to that time. So price was teasing, and then we had an entry, but the candle was too big, and that's kind of what happened. Price retraced back, and then it hit our stop loss, and then it went straight to TP right after. Or actually, it didn't hit our stop loss, but it gave us an opposite signal. So we closed out early, and then it ended up shooting straight to TP, if you guys remember that from last week. We were able to close out for a small loss, which is like 100 pips, I think. And then we were able to make it back on the next trade. So thankfully it worked out in our favor, but we're not really in our favor, but it worked out to break even for that day. But yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time, guys. There's no need to force anything, now that we kind of have that idea in mind that Randy mentioned, and CJ said exactly like last week, it teased for like 20 minutes, and then it finally closed and gave us a fake out. So there's no need to force anything. It's 7:09 right now. We still have quite a bit of time till 8. I'm hoping we'll get an entry soon though, because I want to get it before this news event over here. The one thing too, and we have the buy signal right there, perfect. So what I need here now, guys, is I need to make some adjustments here. Never mind. I was going to make some adjustments, but it's fine because there's no setup here that's really setting up. Price is coming back down with this red candle. I'll make some adjustments once the movement looks solid. But right now, it's not really looking too solid. It looks like price is kind of just consolidating around this area. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go and update the zones over here. So I just kind of updated the zones right there, so you guys can see where structure is sitting. So price is climbing, but it's not a very clean climb. It's just kind of climbing up, but it's faking out and coming back down. So price pushes up, comes down, climbs up higher, retraces, pushes up higher, retraces, pushes up higher, retraces, etc. I just want to draw the zones there so that you guys can see the market structure. Market structure here is not very clean. I mean, it is pushing to the upside, but it's not very clean, as you guys can see here. Price is coming up, but it's not necessarily smooth move up. It's kind of a slow climb. So what I'm looking for right here is I'm looking for price to push up. I'm not going to take any entries below this this level right here. So what I need is price to push up, retrace, and continue. If we get that right there, then great. I'll look for an entry up here. But I will not take any entry lower than this level right here, because this level is as low as I'll go. 60. 60 is the threshold for me. It's 6:12 right now, so we still have time. News is at 7:30, so we still have a lot of time here. Not a lot of time, but we have a decent amount of time. The only downside here is the volatility. So if you keep looking down at the ATR over here, ATR is currently at 17. It's not really looking too good. It's too slow. Generally around this time, like this whole time here is usually around like 20, 24, 25, around that time, around that movement. But the volatility here has been low pretty much all morning, which is kind of surprising because there was a lot of news events today. Today's like one of the heaviest news days. We had news pretty much all morning. We had news at 4:30, 4 o'clock, 4:45, 5:30, 6:45, 7, and then again right here at 7:30. We have a ton of news today, so I was expecting a lot more volatility. Unfortunately, there isn't. So it's kind of hard for us to take any entries here because we need volatility, we need movement for us to take any of these entries here. So it looks like price is going into consolidation right here. We'll see if it reverses back up or corrects back up, but the volatility is getting even lower. So as you can see over here, the ATR is now at 16. So it's actually really, really low. Let's see. Casey said a 10-minute buy just closed on the 10-minute time frame. Rashida also mentioned that there's double bodies forming on the 5-minute and 10-minute. So let's take a look at that real quick. 5-minute over here, double body from the top. 10-minute over here, double body from the top as well. Okay, so we might get we might get either a reversal or a fake out. You can see there's another double body right here setting up as well on the 1 minute. So looking over here on the 5. So one of two things can happen because the 5 minutes is going to close in about 1 minute. If this here closes, price may come down a little bit and then it'll come back up and it'll just invalidate this high. A couple different scenarios here that can play out. Again, we don't have a buy signal, so we got to wait again for another setup. But and I thought standing would prevent me from yawning. I'm still yawning because this market's so slow. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where this ends up going. Volatility super low. Not really seeing too much here. Looks like Rashida's double body right there on the 5 minutes closing. Or it might close. Let's see. Yeah, so it closed right there. You can see the double body that Rashida mentioned right here on the 5 minute. There's still one that's pending on the 10. 10-minute closes in the next 5 minutes. So we'll see if that ends up closing. If not, I mean, price may just reverse from here. Price is bullish, so I probably wouldn't go for this double body, but the double body pattern is good to use to identify any possible push in the opposite direction. So looking at this down here, there's a double body, price pushed up, double body right here, price pushed down. I think this push down right here just might be a retracement and then it'll swing right back up, hopefully, but we'll see. I mean, it wouldn't really matter because the volatility is so low. It's currently at 16 right now. So, I mean, price might just bounce back and forth right here until we get a push. Let's take a look at the whole spectrum again. So let's go over here to the retail sentiment. Retail sentiment over here again is 54% short. Nothing really changed here. So what I'm seeing here is that there's not very many retail traders in the market right now. Or if they are, they're sitting on both sides. So the retail traders right now aren't really playing in the market. You know, they probably got, if you think about it, so we've been looking at retail sentiment for like the past couple of months. The retail traders have been getting destroyed, right? Every time we see a heavy one-sided retail sentiment, they just keep on getting stopped out. Like for the past couple of months, sentiment here was like 70%, 80% short, right? And you look over here. So let's just go to a clean chart over here. And if you guys look at like how price was moving for like the past couple, like you just think about it. If you're selling like every day, like all summer. So for example, so say for example, so start in June right here, right? Think about if you were a seller, like a retail trader and you're selling, and you started selling like beginning of June because the sentiment was very high from like June 1st up until like the end of summer. Like you think about it, you could only take so many L's until you give up, right? Price just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. It's crazy. So the retail sentiment was like 70%, 80%, and price just kept going up, gave him some hope right here, came back up to stop them out, came down, gave him some more hope, stopped them out again, and it just kept climbing, climbing, climbing. So you guys can only imagine, the retail traders who are getting burnt right here, they kind of just, you give up at some point, right? You're like, okay, trading is not for me. And I'm sure this has happened to you guys before. You guys have probably traded for a season. You guys traded like during summer. You lost a lot of trades and you're like, all right, trading's not for me. You take like a month break off, right? For like August. You come back in September, like, okay, I'm gonna give this another shot. That's kind of what's happening here because the sentiment's pretty flat. So with the sentiment being flat like this, it's not causing any volatility in the market. Not necessarily because retail traders aren't trading, it's because the market makers don't have people to stop out. So that's something to keep in mind. A lot of this movement here is not necessarily like they typically just wait to spike price. Usually they'll wait for retail traders to be sitting in a certain area. And then once there's a high volume of retail traders just hanging out there, that's when the market makers start to spike price and then they just wipe them all out. It's basically like free money for them. Let's see, Rashida said her intraday move hasn't really confirmed a buy or a sell yet. Yeah, not really too much here. Not much confirmation because the volatility is so low. I'm surprised it's this low this early, and especially on a heavy news day, because I was expecting today to probably be the busiest day of the week, but obviously it's not. Let's check the rest of the calendar real quick. So tomorrow we have pre-market news. So if the market doesn't really pick up today, I think it'll pick up tomorrow because there's more high impact news pre-market tomorrow. So we have Chicago Fed National Activity Index, non-defense good orders, durable good orders for defense, transportation, jobless claims. And then we have more news over here at 7:30, 8. Let's see. I thought the Fed was speaking today, but I guess they're not. I mean, the Jack Hole Symposium is going on today, so they're probably going to be speaking, but there's no, actually there is a Fed member speaking tomorrow. We have Fed member Harker speaking tomorrow. And then we have Powell speaking on Friday. Yeah, Friday is like Fed day. There's a Fed member speaking basically all day tomorrow. Fed member Harker, Fed Chair Powell, the Jack Hole Symposium. We'll see. All right, so price is coming back down right here. I'm going to take this off because we might have to shift to a sell. We'll see. So Rashida's double bodies here played out. So she had her double body pattern over here on the 5-minute. She saw this as a reversal pattern. It came down from that point. Here's the 10-minute as well. Double body right there as well. And it came right back down. We'll see if this holds. I don't know if this will actually hold, but I mean, who knows? The thing that you guys got to keep in mind is that the long-term technicals were bearish, right? So if anything, we had a bearish bias today, but price just kept coming back and forth. Yeah, Gion said back to open. So price is coming right back down here to opening price. I mean, it might not. We'll see. So the main thing that I'm looking for here is I'm looking for the trend to either shift. So I'm either looking for the red pivot over here to cross over above all the other pivots to confirm a switch in trend. If that's not the case and price starts to come back up, then we're still looking for a buy here. Trend still hasn't necessarily shifted yet. So either we get a buy signal and price climbs back up, or we get a shift in trend and we start looking for a sell, right? It doesn't matter which direction price goes. We do have news over here at 7:30, so I'm kind of hoping that we don't get anything until 7:30 because I don't want to be caught up and then have the entry hit as soon as news comes around. It's low impact news, so we could probably maybe squeeze something in around that area, but I still don't like trading around news. Yeah, it's a bunch of just oil stock changes. So we got EIA crude oil stocks change, EIA gas stocks change, just gas stocks. It happens every month. Maddie said it might just be a fake out, waiting for that buy signal though, for sure. Yeah, same here, Maddie. So you can see the pivots are starting to shift a little bit because of this big push right here, but it hasn't really confirmed yet. So this could be a fake out and it can swing right back up. I mean, at this point, it can go in either direction. There's not really much of a confirmation. Price, if it gets a sharp drop further, it might swing, but right now it's still bullish. It's more of a neutral bullish though. So again, we are just waiting for some confirmation here. Nothing here yet. Let's see. Andrew said out for the day. Back to work. Thanks, Sean. See you tomorrow, bro. Yeah, definitely, Andrew. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Hopefully, the market's gonna be a lot smoother and more consistent. Today's probably a good day to just call it if you don't have to trade. ATR is at 16. I'm not expecting it to pick up anytime soon. So, all right, Andrew. We'll see you back here tomorrow. All right. Other than that. And we're still waiting. So let's see, we have Van Harwig over here. Van Harwig put me on the Forbes, what's it called? Cover. That's how easy it is. You just got to talk to Van Harwig. If you guys want to be on Forbes, just hit up Van Harwig over here. Get you for a cool little fee. We have Patricia over here. So we got some profits. Nice work, guys. We'll just Patricia, I guess, for today so far. Patricia took a couple trades, it looks like during pre-market over here at 5:30, and then up until market open over here at 6:06. So a bunch of pre-market trades over here from Patricia. She probably made the best decision to trade pre-market for because it was actually, see, the volatility was kind of low, but you were still able to take trades during that time. But Patricia over here locked on a total profit of 5,750 for the day. Nice work, Patricia, on this account. And then we have Patricia's other accounts over here. Her first account, she made 1,170, second account, 820, and third account, 1,331. So Patricia took a lot of these trades pre-market, not during the live session because you can see the timestamp from the moves. Maybe on this account, she made some trades during the live session, but for the most part, this account was all pre-market. So nice work right there, Patricia, and great weekly profits as well. Patricia's currently at 2,900 on her first account, 2,300 on her second account, and 3,093 on her third account right there. So solid works right there. Solid work right there. And we got our buy signal. All right, so let's see if we have a possible entry here, guys. We got the buy signal right here. It's kind of close to news, so we want to be a little careful with any possibility of, entry here. It's a little too close to news, so I don't know if I'll take it. It's not high impact news though, so that's the thing. It might still be able to be a decent entry. It's just gas news. I'm not really expecting too much from gas today. Let me check CNBC real quick if there's any heads up, if anything might be playing out for gas. Not really. I don't see any news here regarding gas, so I don't think there's going to be much of an effect. We're kind of over the recession and inflation scare. So, and let's see, Putin's war was unleashed by the West. So there's no war news today. There's no inflation news. Well, nothing necessarily directed towards gas. The last time we took a loss taking a gas news trade was because of the war just started, right? If you guys remember the war, or there was war news that day, and then also inflation news. So gas had an impact, but for today, there's not really much of an impact. I mean, it's just regular gas news that comes out every month. So, I mean, there's not really much movement here anyway, so it's not really it want to be beneficial for us. All right, ATR is currently at 15. I think this is the slowest I've seen ATR in a while, for the entire session. Typically it's at 20 and it'll stay above 20 for a good hour or so. ATR is actually at 14 right now. So this is really low for live session time. I mean, this is crazy. I kind of want to sit down. I'm not even like I don't even feel like standing anymore because the market's so boring. I feel like if the market was more exciting, I'd be more inclined to stand because there'd be stuff for me to look at. But right now it's just kind of boring. It's not too much going on. All right, if price comes back down, that's completely fine. If we get a sell signal right here, we just need to wait for this red pivot here to cross over with all the other pivots. If we get a sell signal here, the red pivot crosses over, then we can possibly look for a sell here. We're about three minutes till news. So we got news coming up right here at 7:30. It's basically a bunch of different oil stocks and oil news and stuff like that, all low impact except for the stocks change, which I don't think it's going to have much of an impact. Let's check the index over here real quick. So I think Chevron is like one of the main gas stocks. It's only down, it's down like less than a point or like 1 point. Chevron's down by 1 point. That's about it. So yeah, I'm not really expecting this news to do too much. Yeah, it looks like price is just going back and forth again. So the swing to the downside never really confirmed. The swing to the upside still is there's not really much going on, guys. It's both it's going up and it's going down. Let's go over here to the clean chart so you guys can see the structure that I drew earlier. It's still there. Price just faked out above, came back below. It's attempting to come back down to opening price. So you can see over here, price kind of shot up, came down, retest, then down lower from that point. All right, nothing going on here. I mean, the ATR just keeps getting lower. So it's now at 14. It's below our value. So anything below 15, there's no opportunity for entry, but it wouldn't make a difference because there's no movement here anyways. So here we go with the 7:30 news. Let's see if this actually causes some volatility in the market, I hope. I want to mark that up as news there. I don't care where it pushes. It can push up, it can push down, it can push any direction, just not sideways. So up or down, I don't care where it goes. I just need some volatility here so that we can squeeze in a trade, hopefully. Right, so as you can tell, it's pretty much what I anticipated. I didn't expect it to have much of an effect, which it is, and it might have a later effect. So here's the cool thing. We have all the news passed now, right? So we have pretty much market reaction to all the news events. I think now that news is all done, we're going to have some sort of direction in the market. The direction is going to have to be set eventually. Surprisingly, it hasn't been set for today, and it's been yeah. So if you guys look over here, so I've marked up market open right here at 6:30 up until 8. There hasn't really been much of a direction, right? Price tried to go up and then it came back down. And now it's just going sideways. So realistically, it's just a huge range right here. If I was to delete these other zones here, so I'll delete this one and this one, it's just in a huge range right here, right? You guys can see it's pretty clear. This just makes things a little more, I guess it breaks it down a little better for you guys. But as you can see, there's not really too much direction. So eventually price is probably going to climb up. It doesn't have to climb up very high, but it needs to climb up or down to choose its direction for the day. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're pretty much flat too. Yeah, they're not up or low. They're currently at 79 points. All right, so we're starting to get the shift over here. So you guys can see the trend meter down below starting to turn red. And we're having the red pivot over here starting to cross over the other pivot. So if this is the case and price starts to shift over here, then that's completely fine. We can possibly look for a sell. If that's not the case, then we get a buy signal and price will just correct back up. So, I mean, there's a possibility here. Let's see, Rashida said purple dots is where I need price for a buy or sell. So let's see, let's check out Rashida's markup over here. All right, so here is Rashida's markup. She's looking for price to either be above from where it's currently at or below. So she's looking for price to either climb up from where it's currently at, or she's looking for it to drop down below. And I agree with this too. I think price is still bullish in my opinion with regard to the lower time frames. The higher time frames over here obviously bearish. So yeah, if price comes down below, this is probably not going to happen by like anytime soon. Maybe by the end of today or maybe by tomorrow. This lower part, but this might happen today, the buy side, or not necessarily today, but like within the next couple of minutes. So yeah, I agree with your market right there, Rashida, for sure. The reason why I agree with yours is because the long term is still bearish, right? So you're trading on the 1 hour over here. You can see that price is below. The 30-minute over here is still below. So all the higher time frames are still bearish. The lower time frames over here are somewhat bearish, but they're not necessarily bearish. You can see the 5 minute here is neutral. It's right in between. 10 minutes neutral. 1 minute here is starting to shift, but it hasn't really confirmed yet. So I mean, we'll see. I'm looking over here for this pivot over here to confirm. So I'm looking for that red pivot to be above all the other pivots. If it doesn't confirm above it, then there's no confirmation of a shift in trend yet. It's still currently neutral at the moment. So yeah, we'll we'll see what happens. Yeah, Rashida said nothing's happening. I agree with you, Rashida. So that's good. It's good that you guys have a different analysis. You guys don't have to agree with everything that I analyze. If you guys think differently, it's always good to have an open mind, and it's good to have a discussion. If you think price is going up or price is going down, then you can send in your analysis and we can compare it. I agree with Rashida's there. She doesn't have a direction, which I don't have a direction either. So we kind of align, and it gives you better confidence with your possible entry there. Yeah, Maddie also mentioned ATR is currently at 13, so he's not interested. Yeah, no, same here. All right, I'm gonna get my chair. I'm kind of tired of standing. I'm gonna mute myself real quick so I can just get this down. All right, much better. Dude, man, how a waste of a stand. My freaking back's killing me now. I was standing for like an hour for no reason. All right, it's all good. We got, let's see, 7:36 right now. So we still have yeah, Maddie said early morning workout. All right, we got price coming down right here. I'm looking for the pivot to shift. So the pivot still hasn't shifted yet. I'm looking for this red pivot to cross all of them. If it crosses all of them, then we may be able to start looking for a sell here. It's not available yet, but we'll see in the next couple candles. Let's see when this candle closes. Candle's kind of small, so I don't think that the pivot's going to shift yet. Yeah, so as you can see over here, this is why I like using the pivots to confirm the trend, because the pivots it'll reflect the candle, right? If the candle is a strong red candle, it'll shift. If it's small like that, it's not going to shift. You can see it's attempting to shift, but it doesn't have the power to do it yet. So I mean, it's still open game right here where price can go. At 7:37 right now. The volatility is extremely low. It's currently at 13. This is the lowest I've seen at this time in a really long time, which is weird because there's a lot of catalysts here that's to push price around, and there's no movement. I mean, today was the heaviest news day out of like all the other days, and there was more movement on Monday and Wednesday versus today. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Let's see. Daniel's asking, are those LEDs behind you or just the window? It's just LEDs. There's some new LEDs that I got for ambiance. My window's over here on this side though, so I have like the whole wall is a mirror. It is a window over here on this side, so light's coming over there. Yeah, Daniel said give us a light show. You know, I just got this thing. This thing's actually pretty cool. It's like I was telling people yesterday, like, dude, this thing I could have it go off noise. So we have those horns that play out. It could, I'm still trying to figure out how to use it though, but it's pretty cool. Like it shifts like that. There's like so many options here. I think there's like 50 settings. But yeah, so the main reason I got this is because I'm probably going to redo all the videos, guys. So I'm going to be making some new videos soon. I figured I might as well change up the ambience. So I'm going to make a new video, like an official video for the momentum pullback scalp strategy. I didn't plan on doing it because I like teaching it live, but it's going to be easier for you guys to just refer back to versus, watching the previous mentoring sessions. So I'm going to create some official videos of the momentum pullback scalp, and then probably an updated video of liquidity for a lot of you guys here, because those are the two main strategies that we're applying. I think these might be the staples for a while, guys. So I'm not really advertising the community to like the public anymore. So I think it'll help us, and we won't really need to make adjustments to our strategies. The only difference we might have to change would be like TP stop loss. That'd probably be one of the main things that I have to adjust when we go into the fall. But for strategy wise, I think we're pretty much solid with this momentum pullback scalp. It doesn't come up very often right now because the volatility is so low, but once the volatility picks up in the fall, then it'll probably be a little bit better. I mean, we'll see. I can't really predict how the fall market's going to be because it's always been kind of different, but usually it picks up more than it is moving now. So, all right, guys, the pivots have shifted over here. You can see the red pivot is now above all of the other pivots. We can look for a possible sell entry. I wouldn't necessarily look, well, I mean, I wouldn't look right now because the ETR is so low, it's at 13. But if you guys do want to take an entry here, it would probably be at this point. I wouldn't take it yet though, because this hasn't necessarily confirmed. I would look for maybe another couple candles for this red pivot to really be past it. I mean, it's past it right now, but it's not very strong, as you guys can see. Obviously, it can just shift at any moment. But the main reason why you wouldn't want to take a trade here is because the volatility is so low. It's currently at 13 right now. If it picks back up to 15, then maybe look for possible entry. But right now, I would personally just sit tight and wait. Yeah, Maddie said he'd look for a new signal. I agree. I would too. It's currently 7:41 right now, so we are getting close to 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, the market's been dead pretty much all session. It's been dead. I mean, there was movement here earlier in the session, but nothing that we could necessarily take. There's only one entry that could have been taken here, but it was at news. So you can see there's a buy signal here, price pushed up, retracement, entry would have happened right here. And that's pretty much it, because this buy signal here, price never pushed up above it. So there was no entry there, of course. Yeah, there's just no entries today. So just keep that in mind, guys, that sometimes there's not going to be entries. It's not always going to be smooth. throughout the day. Sometimes there's just days where like I'm surprised that today there was just like no entries because there's so many news events. We had like I think 4 or 5 news events and the volatility just wasn't there. Typically when there's news events, a lot of people are gambling. You get a lot of those degenerate traders who just want to trade news and they want to catch those spikes. But today we didn't really have much of that. The sentiment's actually very low. Yeah, you can see over here, it hasn't even changed since open. It's been at 54% since market open. Where is it at? They don't even have sentiment right now. Yeah, so it's currently 54%. It's been like this all day. I've never seen it. Well, I'm not going to say I've never seen it like this, but I don't typically see where there's no change throughout the entire session, right? Market's been open for about almost 2 hours now, and there hasn't been much change here. So you can see that there's not really too much going on. Typically, if it's changing, you're going to see a lot of retail traders hopping in or hopping out or getting stopped out, etc. But we just don't have that today. All right, price is starting to shift back up. We're starting to get increased volatility over here. Hopefully this will be beneficial for us. Yeah, Kevin said the high-low shot right through, but he didn't take it. Yeah, so there was a high-low scalp right here, guys. High-low momentum scalp. There's a lower low buy signal right here, broken close past pivots 1 and 2, and then it broken close and it shot right through. So if you guys took the high-low momentum scalp right here, that a lot of people have been taking, it went straight to full TP. Kevin unfortunately missed it, but it's all good. It happened super quickly. I wasn't expecting that volatility push to happen just like that. But this might be the initial push for that correction to the upside. I mean, who knows? We'll see. Yeah, CJ said when he realized it, it was too late. Yeah, it happened just way too quick right there. And the ATR was too low, like you guys mentioned. Yeah, Patricia said market's been rough. Have to get your trades in early. Yeah, I agree with you too, Patricia. I wish there wasn't that news at 6:45. If there was no news here at 6:45, I would have been sold on taking the entry over here because this was the only solid entry we had today. The news was literally at 6:45. So if there was no news there, so for example, if there was no news here and there was news at 7, I would have been okay because I could have got into this entry, got out, hit my TP right away, and then be done, right? Unfortunately, we didn't have that opportunity here. So we weren't able to hop into it because there was news so close. It was high impact news too. If it was low impact, I would have been okay, maybe take the trade, but yeah, I mean, it just didn't work out. And it didn't work out that way for us. The ATR right now is pretty low. It's currently 13. So I want to be a little careful with your entries here because the last thing you want to do is hold on to a position, be stuck in that position for like God knows how long, right? And then be stuck in that position, then it either hits your TP or your stop loss. I think the worst part of trading is when you're stuck in a position you can't get out and you're just stressed out about it. I think that's more stressful than losing a trade. I think if you lose a trade right away, you'll know, okay, like the trade just didn't work out. But if you get into a trade and then you're stuck in it and it doesn't do anything for like a good couple hours, or if it ends up going to drawdown, you're stuck in drawdown for like a couple hours, I feel like that kind of stresses you out a lot more than just losing. That's why for me, swing trading doesn't work for me because when you're in drawdown, your mind thinks of like a million things. It's like, okay, what if this happens or this happens? And you get scared and you pull out early and then it goes straight to your TP right after. I'd rather just know right away. Like, just let me know if I win or lose. I don't care if I win or lose, but I want to know right away because I don't have to worry about it. All right, so I was hoping we were going to get a push to the upside. The volatility here just pretty much got flat again. Let me see where the ATR is currently at. ATR is back to 13. So good news is that price is bullish again. You can see here that the pivots are starting to shift back up. Bad news is that volatility is too low. So while we do have opportunity here for entry, the volatility here is just too slow. So here's one thing that you guys can look at. So if price continues to climb up, say we agree candle here, price pushes up, retraces and continues, then you can have a possible entry, right there. So there's a possibility of entry here. It's just going to be considered risky, in my opinion, because the volatility is so low. So we'll continue to follow. I mean, maybe we might get some increased volatility as we get closer to 8 o'clock. I mean, who knows? And then as soon as I say that, the ATR goes even lower. ATR is now at 12. This is the lowest I've seen ATR during New York session. Spread's kind of decent. I mean, spread is still, it's actually a little wider than usual. So yeah, if you guys decide to take anything over here, I'm hoping that this volatility picks up. So if price pushes up right here and price pulls back, there may be opportunity for entry there. I'm probably not going to take it. I mean, if I do take it, I'll let you guys know, or you guys will hear my top step. But I shouldn't fall into the position, so probably not. Because I think right now we're all kind of in that position where we kind of want to FOMO into something, but yeah, I was hoping the price would push up a little higher and the ATR would just pick up, but it's not picking up. It's still at 12. Volatility is picking up though. You can see these candles here are starting to pick up a little higher. So if this is the case and price pushes up a little bit, then there may be possibility of entry. This level right here, the 40. The only thing that I would be, okay, this candle is a little too big. The volatility is definitely picking up, but this candle is way too big. So obviously no entry right here. Okay, ETR is picking up. All right, this is exactly what we're waiting for, but I'm not going to take this entry here, of course, because the candle's too big. What might happen here is price might just reverse back down and fill this candle. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I feel like the market makers are also frustrated. So they're just in frustration with us. They're like, all right, we're going to push price because nothing's happening. Let's check sentiment over here. Sentiment actually dropped a little bit. So it's down to 53%. It looks like whoever was on the sell side just got stopped out. 1% of them got stopped out because price pushed up. It's pushing up to, it hasn't been pushed up anywhere really. It's attempting to get to that next level of liquidity up there, looks like. So unfortunately, this candle here is too big, guys. I can't take entry at this right here. This candle is too big. The ATR is too low. If you guys do want to take an entry, it's going to be right here if it closes. So we'll see where this candle here closes. I mean, opportunity could be right there, or it can be a bit higher. The candle right there is just a little too big, though, from my understanding that, okay, entry actually be down here. This is a controversial type of candle here, though. So you guys can see how big this candle is, right? I personally wouldn't want to take the entry here, even though, it looks like it could possibly hit. The problem with this here is that there's two scenarios here that can play out. Price is either going to come back down and fill this candle and then come back up, or the opposite. Price may push up and continue climbing. So I'm just marking this up for you guys right here. I'm not in a position to take a trade right now because the ATR is just too low. And then also this candle here is too big. If this candle wasn't this huge, then maybe, like if it was a regular size candle, I would maybe take it, but nah. All right now. Yeah, Maddie said he closed his trade of 8. He's saving his accounts for another day. Yeah, probably best decision right there, Maddie. If anything, I would look for possibility of retracement and then continuation. I just don't want to be trading within this candle right here because the candle is just too big. So what I would want to do and what I would want to see here is I would rather see price climb a little bit higher. So break out of this area, climb a bit higher, then retrace, and then entry. Right at that point, then okay, I might be okay with that. But right here, I don't want to trade anywhere around this area right here. So this lower area here, I don't want to take any entries because this is just basically a dead zone. I would prefer to trade somewhere around here, around this area. So 753 right now. Price is still bouncing around this area, and it's getting really close to 8 o'clock, like Randy mentioned. So Randy said nearly 8 o'clock. Rashida said 1 hour pending buy signal. Let's see. Yeah, there's not really too much to work with here. All right, Maddie, we'll see you back here tomorrow. So really curious to see how this here plays out. I mean, the volatility here is still pretty low. But yeah, as I mentioned, if I was to take a buy here, I want price to get away from this big candle. I just need to push away from it because if this thing just acts as a magnet, this whole candle right here is a magnet. So what could happen here is price might consolidate and then reverse and come down to fill this candle right here, right? So what I need price to push away from here and continue climbing. If I get that, then all right, solid, I'm cool. I just want price to keep as far away from this candle as possible. As you can see over here that price is attempting to come back down. It's just not it's not making that drop yet. Retail sentiment over here is not very useful to us because it's pretty much flat at the moment. So there's not really too much we can do there with that. Yeah, there's not really much here to work with. Yep, see how it's pulling it back down. Yeah, this isn't a good setup. So, all right, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. This isn't an area that I want to trade in. If price pushed up higher, I would have been a little more inclined to look for a possible entry, but we don't have that here. If anything, if we get another buy signal, then possibly, but that's not something that I expect to happen within the next 5 minutes. It's 7:55 right now, so it's really close to 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's just our luck today. But yeah, if there's any questions, guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'll keep looking for any possible entries here. There's just nothing for us to take at the moment. Unfortunately, this is one of those days where we just don't really have too much. For the week so far, we're doing pretty good though. Randy over here, he posted his profits, nothing for the today because he hasn't taken anything. Maddie over here, he took one trade earlier from liquidity, made 120 on his first account, 450 on his second account. Solid work right there, Maddie. And I think that's it. Let me see. So here are my accounts for the week so far. I'm doing great for the week so far, so I'm not really looking to force anything too unnecessary. You can see for the week over here, I'm currently so these are my profits for yesterday and for the week so far. So for the week so far, I'm currently up 1,030 on the first account, 1,200 on the second account, 1,280 on the third account, 1,330 on the fourth account, 730 on the MFF number 1, 730 on MFF number 2, and 730 on MFF number 3. So, adding up the profits right there, I'm currently up right now 730 times 3 plus 1030 plus 1280 plus 1330. I'm in profit 5,830 for the week so far, so not really too bad. That's why I don't really need to force anything here. I mean, you guys should never have to force anything, even if you're in profit or if you're in at break even. There's no need to really force anything. We're starting to get a little bit of a push right here, so there may be possibility of entry here. I'm just going to hang out and see if this here ends up playing through. Again, I need price to be somewhere above this area. It's not in an area that I would like to trade in yet. I need price to push up a little bit higher. Entry would happen like right here. However, the volatility is still very low. So looking over here, ETR is currently at 12. So it still wouldn't fit criteria for entry. We've got some profits over here from Casey. Casey's currently at 1,215 for the day. Nice work, Casey. Great profits right there during this type of market. We have Barack over here, total profit of 3,270 for the day. Looks like Barack here took a lot of entries based off analysis this morning. So nice work right there, Barack. And then we have Gian over here, total profit of 410 for the day. Looks like he took the liquidity push right there on open. So nice work, Gian. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you guys here just took liquidity pushes on open. So you guys did pretty solid. With that, price is still pushing up right here. So again, need price to be above this area. And the thing for you guys to look out for here, if you guys are looking for any possible entry, is going to be a sell signal, of course. I mean, not sell signal, a sell candle. So price is now climbing up a little bit. The volatility is still very low, but the opportunity is still here. So if you guys do want to take something that you might want to see as kind of risky, if you get a red candle here and it closes above this black line, the entry would happen right here at this black area right here. So just heads up if you guys are looking to take something here. It is getting close to 8 o'clock though, like I mentioned. So volatility here is starting to die down quite a bit. But yeah, if you get a red candle right there, possible entry would be at that next level at the 70 mark. Does not look like there's going to be a red candle here. Maybe on the next one. Yeah, maybe on this one right here. So let's see. Casey said, thanks for the live. Got a couple of trades just off analysis and break of structure. Out for the day. See you in a bit. Yeah, definitely, Casey. See you guys here in a couple hours. You and Kip. Gonna hang out with Casey and Kip today. Maddie. And who else? Oh, we'll see. We'll see who else shows up. Right. If the candle here closes red, then there's possibility of entry right there at the 70 mark. I don't know if it'll close red, but it is now 8 o'clock almost. Yep, it's about to be 8 o'clock. So if this candle here closes red, I just want to follow it. I want to see where it ends up going. If you guys do decide to take it right there. So entry would be like right there at the, it's got to close red and it'll be at that 70 mark. I couldn't even tell if it closed red or not. There's not really anything here. I was looking if there's any other opportunities for entry, high-low scalps, anything like that. There's just nothing here. Gotcha. CJ said it closed for me. All right, guys. So it's 8 o'clock. I don't see anything here for us to take. Unfortunately, there's no entries for us today. I was hoping we'd get something, but unfortunately we didn't. But it's all good. We don't need to force anything today. The volatility is still pretty low. ATR is currently at 12 right now. And this candle is starting to come down kind of heavy. So again, if you guys are looking to take an entry, it doesn't even look like it's going to provide any opportunity for you here because this candle is a little too big. I was going to say if the candle here closes above the black line, you may have opportunity there, but looks like there's not going to be any opportunity here at all. At this point, this candle is a little too big. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, unfortunately, no trades for today. It's just one of those days. Surprisingly, this is one of the days with the heaviest news, but still no trades. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day.